So good afternoon, everybody. Mostly these three guys should be able to answer your questions. Regarding the questions, it would be nice not to turn this into a technical troubleshooting session. So like I had this bug where the server crashed. That might be a bit out of scope. But you may ask questions about the Zabbix development. Some of that you already did in the Alexei's previous talk. Questions about the sales support, partnership, maybe general features, community relationship, and you probably can come up with some more. So I guess we should start with the brave person who will ask the first question. Maybe that was not the right, okay, there we go. One brave person.
Can I sit? Yep, okay. I have a bulk of questions. So you like the bulk? Operations, I have a bulk of questions. So the first one is about security. I know that you will using LTS likely, LTS or maybe SSL-like security layer. What do you think about it? What do you think about development of security features? Do you have any background right now?
Well, maybe I'd like to understand your
so
question better.
The nature of the question is about the technical layer. Do you have a technical layer of the encryption?
You mean for the plan development or?
So do you have a vision?
Oh, I'll try to clarify the question. So the question is whether we have any vision about the encryption that we would implement in Zabbix. So.
Well, we have this vision, and I already told you that we made initial investigation of what encryption and authentication related libraries and tools we can use for the development of those encryption features. And I guess it most probably, well, 90% we go with the standard SSL or TLS encryption. And maybe I'm still not sure how this will be implemented as a kind of a pluggable encryption, or maybe kind of built in into Zabbix. But this is a way to go to investigate what we have in regards of SSL or TLS encryption.
Okay, we have your own TLS certificates in our server side. Can we use it in Zabbix environment? What do you think about it? We have
I think so. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Why not?
Okay. The next question is about delivery guarantee. So you have messages flows through Proxy to servers. What's about the delivery guarantee? So is the messages lost? What's about the queues?
Question is about the guaranteed delivery of values through proxies, both guarantees from getting lost and by getting delayed, I guess.
Yeah, thank you, Richard.
Yes, so there is a queue actually. The database is the queue. So basically on a proxy side, we've got a database. There is a special table when all collected information is stored, and you may call it a queue. So and we guarantee that if the message is there, it would be delivered to Zabbix server.
But if
we don't use any. Well, we don't use any how to tell some special the queuing software. Yeah, so we don't use it, but there is a queue.
But where is about the TCP loss? So the message is 100% guarantees, or maybe there is a small values of unguaranteed transfer. So it's an amazing question. It's all about technical layers.
So, okay, so let me explain how it works. So we have, for example, Zabbix agent connected to Zabbix proxy. Zabbix proxy retrieves information from the agent and keeps it in a local database on Zabbix proxy side. There will be this value stored in a Zabbix proxy database. And then Zabbix proxy is trying to push this information to Zabbix server, okay? And it connects to Zabbix server, it sends those values, and Zabbix server needs to respond, okay? I got it. I got those values. And as soon as proxy receives, okay, confirmed, I got those values, the values are removed from the queue, from the table
so
on Zabbix proxy
side. Acknowledge based, yeah? Acknowledge based.
Yeah, we acknowledge. We acknowledge that we received those values.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, that's how it works.
The next one is about the events fields in Zabbix currently. So just open my Zabbix. So I have an event with time, but no event with information mean time between failure. So this time is countable, yeah, in PHP side. So the time between the event OK and event problem, this time It's
Yes.
countable. Yeah. What's about improvement of these things?
Well, the question is about some calculated information in Zabbix front end. For example, the duration of the event and the age of the event. This
Yep.
is what you're asking for, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, so we don't have this information pre-calculated and stored in the Zabbix database. The reason why is because you may receive older events. So you may receive event which you insert in between two existing events. So we actually need to recalculate everything. And actually, I would prefer to have events as simple as possible. No update operations for events, only add. So you may add a new event, but there shouldn't be a way to update existing events. It won't scale very well. Because if your monitoring system generates, I don't know, tens of thousands of events per second, and the events table will be huge, updates are very, very expensive.
Yeah, it's quite slow, yeah.
So we are not recalculating, we are not doing any pre-calculation.
Yeah, okay. Next question is about NoSQL database. What NoSQL databases you prefer in Zabbix 3.0? So maybe it's Elasticsearch, maybe Redis, maybe it's... what do you think about this?
I made, and we made no research yet. So what I'd like to see? I'd like to see some, again, a pluggable architecture so you can use and you can write your own module. So if you need, for example, I know Redis backend, okay, just there is a model for Redis storage and you just plug into Zabbix server on, or maybe a Zabbix proxy side. So this is how it's supposed to work. I don't know what will be the first storage engine, NoSQL storage engine supported by Zabbix. I don't know yet. It might be Cassandra, and we already have a prototype for Cassandra. It might be something else. There are some new interesting database engines like the FluxDB and so on. So, well, I don't know. We need to make some more research. What's the most kind of trouble-free NoSQL engine to have it kind of supported out of the box with Zabbix?
Okay, what kind of language will you prefer for the Zabbix 3.0? Maybe it's Scala? Scala is the most convenient language.
No, there are no plans. Okay, let's be
I think that was the final fun question, I guess, so
Yep.
you should
Okay.
improvise.
Yeah. First of all, there are no plans to rewrite everything. I mean, rewrite Zabbix from scratch or rewrite Zabbix front end from scratch. That would be a very bad plan. Yeah. But of course, we are looking at different technologies. Yeah, you said, well, Scala. There are some other interesting languages, and especially in the functional programming world. Yeah, these languages, they really deliver some promises. Yeah, about they are statically typed and so on, and it looks very, very interesting. At this moment, I have no. Well, any plans? So I don't know honestly which way we go. But I just today during my talk I just pointed to some problems we have, and I don't know how to resolve these problems yet. So it's something to be investigated.
Okay, and last question. Sorry. What's about the JSON nature of the JSON data? Just a sec. We have our own Zabbix agents in Erlang and C, and we have some troubles with JSON data. So it's not a natural JSON. It's order specific. So in simple JSON, you can insert data on the first position, second position, and
I guess the question is about the JSON implementation in Zabbix, and you are saying that the
It's not a
JSON in
fully
Zabbix,
JSON.
the requirement is for it to be ordered.
Yep.
Could you give a specific example where there's such a requirement? Because our developers are they have a puzzled look on their faces from what I can see over here. So if you have a specific example where
Yeah.
it's required to be ordered, that would be helpful.
Yeah, I can show later. Thank you.
Okay.
I can show.
So
Thank you.
run away later.
Alexei, you mentioned about the pluggable architecture. Would it be in future, hypothetically, expand to like more inputs, more media types, more actions? So yes, we know that we can mostly do this from scripts, but it would be much more better if we can get it integrated, for example, like in the web front end. So it could be viewable right now without going into the scripts, without checking what's going on right now, or like this. For example, the situation could we add like we cannot do this from scripts like adding message queues like 0MQ. We can do this, but it is not a very efficient way. So question is, could we in future do this?
So the question is about different pluggable modules in different places, I guess, discovery, front end, and whatnot. Make it more framework-like even.
Yes, that's absolutely the way to go. Especially even some simple things. For example, trigger functions. Okay, if you want to implement a new trigger function, actually currently there is no way. You just have to dig into Zabbix server code and do something. For example, you'd like to send events to some enterprise bus or maybe some different monitoring tool. Also, you may do it just writing your own scripts, connect to the database, grab events, and do something. There is no easy way at this moment. Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to see this part of Zabbix. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You said that you don't have yet a roadmap for a next release, but maybe you have some thoughts about what you definitely will include in the next release, especially in the front-end part.
So the question is that whether we have any specific ideas that we will include in the next release, which, as Alexei explained recently, was to be version 3.0. And this question is more even about the front-end part. I'll just remind before answering that you said that you will make no promises. So.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I think that's
today I just highlighted some major direction in a front-end development side. Of course, it's all can be. Those are kind of the big features. Yeah, so big features, and we need to split into some smaller parts. And these some smaller parts might be implemented, but again, I don't really want to give any promises. So I really feel now that if you look at Zabbix application, we have a great backend server, proxy, agent, highly efficient, and we can do some more and more work on the backend anyway. But the front end is what needs to be improved, and I'd like it to be kind of a #1 priority for Zabbix 3.0. And some work, it will not be visible to you directly, like maybe refactoring of existing code. So we refactor existing code and you don't see it in the Zabbix front end. Maybe it will be quicker and the front end is faster, but it's not a new feature. So there will be two sides of this development: some refactoring of existing code and new features, which I was talking about today.
Okay, and the second question, in version 2.2, I saw there is a custom model framework that you can build by your own to extend. And we tried to use it, and we saw that it's very draft yet. Almost no documentation, and not all the functions seems to work. And do you have any plans on that?
So the question is whether we plan to improve the new modular feature in 2.2, which is available for agent, proxy, and server. And there was a claim that it's kind of more in a draft state and no descriptions for functions or something like that. So.
Well, I wouldn't say it's in a draft state. So I believe it is documented. Maybe the documentation is not kind of a complete, or maybe some information is missing there. But there are examples, and there are examples of the models in a Zabbix source tree. So there is a dummy model, so you may try, compile, and extend. So, well, I don't know if you have any specific issues with this system. Just let us know. But I really consider it to be ready in this scope of functionality we have. So this is So using this system, you can extend Zabbix agent. You may extend the external checks of Zabbix server side, and I guess it works well because I know that some users already use it. They write C code to extend functionality of Zabbix.
But there seems to be quite a lot of bindings to other parts. You cannot access directly some parts of data. You can't modify many parts of data. And the functionality is very limited. So you can do just very simple tricks with it.
Yeah, that's true. But this is, actually, this is the first step we made. Of course, there is. We do not expose Zabbix internals to the external to the external models.
Like the value cache, I guess.
Like some the value cache or host-related information, item-related information, whatever. Yeah. So probably this is the next improvement we need to make. Just expose some API so you can talk to internals of Zabbix server or Zabbix proxy or Zabbix agent.
So
But no promises, obviously.
This is probably the question. Do you have it in roadmap to actually extend it in nearest future?
Not yet, as far as I'm aware. So, no, not at this moment.
I would strike out the near from that sentence, but in the future, yes.
Yes. So it depends on maybe on sponsored development. So if a company wants to sponsor this feature, yes, we may increase the priority and implement it in Zabbix 3.0. But at this moment, it's not part of the roadmap for Zabbix 3.0.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, welcome.
Are we planning on adding capabilities to Zabbix to operate on layer 2 infrastructures, as in where there is no transportation layer?
No, again, no specific plans. No specific plans. So,
in one of the previous releases of Zabbix, for security reason, you made a change that you can't send, for example, via Zabbix Trapper, items to the server that are addressed to a host that is being monitored via proxy. And there have been on the Zabbix tracker, there have been then patches being provided years ago that circumstance or that allows you to do this. So by disabling the code you put in, and in one of the presentations today or yesterday, we heard also that people are doing this. Yeah? My question is, are there plans or chances that might be something that the user can decide in terms of a config file option or whatever, so you are allowed to inject data directly to the server for hosts that are monitored via proxies for your convenience, like custom scripts?
So yeah, the question is about sending values directly to the server for hosts which are monitored over Zabbix proxy.
Yes.
Specifically about the trapper items which you use with Zabbix Sender.
well, I don't know. Yes, I see. I noticed yesterday that there is a need to allow it, and there are some patches around. But we really need to think how it can be implemented. Because honestly, now if you you're monitoring remote environments, there is a proxy. So basically proxy is responsible for monitoring of that environment, and there is a single point. So proxy may send information to Zabbix server. This is how it works. So if they allow another party to send information on behalf of the proxy, there could be some security issues maybe. So we need to think how to implement in the best possible way. So I haven't seen those patches, so I don't know. I cannot comment on them.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
You're reluctant in giving promises away now, so I was wondering how many hats were consumed before you got to the conclusion that you...
So yeah, the question is on the consumption level of hats in the Zabbix office.
Well, at least 2 already eaten.
I'm not fully sure about 2, but I have some information about 1.
Oh, yes.
Admittedly, it was probably a bit too pleasant for the purpose that it was originally intended.
So please send more.
Yeah. That was, by the way, the Zabbix 2.0 release party. So you can see that the promised thing has been going on for a while. At the same party, we also had Unicorn. So It's kind of fun at Zabbix every now and then. Second question,
Okay,
please.
second question is a serious question. I think you should look into MQTT as a transport protocol for the agent and server components, because it will solve the guarantees that you can actually get your metrics. It will solve encryption, and I think it will also solve scalability. So that's something that you should look at.
So this seems
More
to
of a
be more of a
remark.
suggestion to consider MQTT for the protocol between the Zabbix components for security and other reasons.
Yes, but doesn't really solve those encryption authentication issues?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
So,
And the third question is, we've sponsored a feature request for version 2.6. Now what?
the question was, we sponsored a feature request for 2.6, now what?
Yeah, so well,
It was related.
just remind me about the feature request.
It's the network discovery that you can actually
yeah, okay.
filter
okay.
on the subnet.
Yeah, okay. So this is a small feature request, and actually we consider to include it even in 2.4. So I believe it will be implemented either in 2.4.1 or 2.4.2 because it doesn't require any changes on the database side. So actually you'll get it even earlier.
Cool.
Well,
Awesome.
the feature request was about what exactly?
It was about ranges for IP addresses. So you could specify, well,
Like
I don't
in
know
the
how-
configuration files and trapper items or somewhere
No,
else?
this is for discovery. So this is a network discovery. So currently you may specify a range for the fourth digit of your of IP address for IPv4 and also last for IPv6. Now those ranges could be made, could be specified and used in the middle of your IP address. Okay.
So network discovery could discover, for example, IP addresses from 240 up on several subnets, something like that, I guess. Is that right?
Yeah, basically
Yeah.
it will allow to do the same discovery on multiple subnets for the same ranges. So, for instance, if you have a router and a printer and something else that are
Yes.
set on the same last octet in the IP address for all the subnets, you can just specify one filter to, one range to scan all the subnets that you have, basically.
So here's a small promise to have this delivered in 2.4 series.
Thank you.
How much development is going to be going into the Java gateway as well? The reason why I ask is that we have, or by the end of this year, we'll have 60 or 70 different in-house built Java applications spread over many hundreds of hosts, and we open up a lot of APIs to various different partners, and the scalability of one Java gateway, trying to access many hosts and query multiple different metrics for multiple different APIs for many different hosts in the cloud, proves quite difficult. So we've come up with other solutions of using different scripts and using things like CodaHail, Drop Wizard for being able to get the data from a HTTP interface. Other things that we'd considered was whether it was feasible for us to put the Java gateway along with the agent on the hosts and try and do it that way.
So the question is about spreading out Zabbix Java gateway to all of the monitored hosts. And I guess that's excluding putting Zabbix proxy on each of them, most likely. Is that
Putting
correct?
a proxy on each of the hosts.
Yeah.
How would that work? Oh, I see what you mean. So because we don't have the Java gateway installed at the moment because we've come from 1.8 where we had to solve it in different manner, so we haven't got around to doing that. But looking at the way it's set up, you've just got the one Java gateway that you configure, right?
Not exactly. So if you use a proxy, so you may have one proxy, Java gateway per proxy. So this is a way how to scale up. Okay. So instead of having just a single Zabbix server with a single Java proxy connected to the server, you may have multiple proxies, each of them running Zabbix Java gateway. It's possible. But regarding the second part of your question about the support of the kind of the Java gateway on Zabbix agent side, well, at this moment we don't have any plans to introduce it. So, well, no plan so far.
All right. Okay.
But you may try this proxy approach to see how it works. And if you have any scalability issues, just, well, let us know so we can have a look.
Hello. I don't know if anyone requested this feature, but about dynamic trigger based on trends. It's like in case of unusual activity on some value we're monitoring, but we're not even set any trigger yet.
So dynamic trigger based on trends?
On trends, yeah. It's like we have a monitored item for months already, but we don't know if it's critical or not. If it start acting something like 10 times more, then it activates some warning trigger or something.
Okay, so you mean something that you're monitoring a thing, you don't want to set a specific threshold, you want to have a dynamic one based on the previous baseline of data?
Yeah. We don't know yet what trigger should be.
So just something that alerts when data increases or decreases by some amount of percentage or whatever.
Well, I believe you may already use so-called time shift functions. Yeah, when you compare the current situation with the situation in the past, let's say you're comparing current CPU load with the CPU load exactly 1 week ago or exactly maybe 1 month ago. So this may help. And if the CPU load is twice higher now than it was last, well, say Friday, okay, you'll get the alert. Another thing to improve, it's not implemented yet, it's so-called baseline monitoring, when you may have averages for, say, 9 till 10 a.m. Yeah? So on this average will be calculated for a period of time, for a month or for a week. And then you also could create such a triggers. So you may compare, okay, this our average disk I/O is 4 times higher than the average for the last month or the average for the last week. It's not implemented yet, but it's very likely it will be implemented very soon.
And another issue was it's like sysadmins don't like if they was called during weekends about some staging, server is crashing or whatever. We want to turn off monitoring for like weekends. We don't, anyway, nobody is using those servers. So we want to monitor it's like only working days.
So the question is about having some systems monitored only at specific time, like only on the working days.
Only per specific time.
I guess it's about maintenance.
It sounds like it's about using the maintenance feature.
We can create maintenance every weekend. So.
Sorry, you cannot create what?
We don't want to create maintenance window every weekend in Zabbix. So.
They do not want to create a maintenance every weekend in Zabbix, but could they use a recurring maintenance?
I think so.
So manual work, actually. Which can we just set up triggers that it would be triggered only on specific day?
Well,
triggers, whether triggers could be configured to only work on a specific day.
Yes. So there are a number of time and date related functions, for example, day of week. And you may use this trigger function to filter, okay, you'd like this problem to be discovered if it happened only on Monday or Tuesday. So it's already possible. But also you may specify recurring maintenance periods. So if you don't want to be alerted about any problems at the weekend, you just say, okay, there is a maintenance time every weekend. We have a maintenance time with no data collection or with data collection, but no reporting to users. So I guess it's already supported if I got your question right.
Yeah, and there's the last one. Could be there's like ignore trigger for, and you can select how many hours you want to ignore this issue.
Sorry?
Ignore trigger. Instead of pressing, it's like down on this issue, so postpone it for a couple of hours.
Sounds like, yeah, a feature where a user would just click on the front and then silence a trigger for a specific period of time. Silence probably being that it stays on the OK state for a while, I guess.
Yeah, so yeah, I think this is quite a popular feature request. So when you may, for example, acknowledge a trigger and tell Zabbix, okay, don't show this trigger for 1 week or something like that, because we know that maybe hardware will not be available for 1 week. Well, again, I like this improvement very much. Yeah, and maybe we also could extend it even more to introduce maybe some basic workflow. Yeah, so maybe some different states of the problem. Not only, okay, it's acknowledged or it's not acknowledged, but maybe some different states. Like, we've got a problem, okay, confirmed, I'm working on this, done, verified, or something like that. So it would be nice to have.
Yeah, so there's like, it shows acknowledged, but you don't know actually it's worked on or ignored completely or whatever. We are sometimes seeing like a Jira issue in comment, but actually it's not assigned to anyone. So it's like a puzzle. We have to check couple of different places to actually about status of this issue.
Yeah, I think this is where this additional workflow may help. So if you have a workflow with additional kind of statuses, it's assigned, or okay, maybe some messages generated, or we call it support, or something like that. So that would be helpful. But
yeah, I saw in one presentation about integration with Jira, but can we have integration already inside of Zabbix?
You mean
with Jira API?
Yeah, I guess we may consider to support it out of the box. Yeah, because Jira is I mean, it's very popular kind of ticketing system, help desk system. Yeah,
but it's not on the roadmap yet, right?
Yeah, it's not on the roadmap yet. And the Jira API is very well defined. So, and yeah, and actually we use Jira as well. So for us, it will be also advantage. Yeah.
We have over 1,000 users already, so it's like.
Sorry, could you clarify?
We have over 1,000 Jira users. So
we have more.
This is a huge problem for us.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Is there any plan to support JMX low-level discovery? I mean, at least, or complete the support, because I've seen traces of it somewhere in the code, but it's not official.
Yes, I guess it's also one of the quite popular feature requests in our tracker. So, and I believe it's okay. Maybe Alexander would correct me, but I believe it's not hard to implement. It would be very nice to get a list of all JMX counters available, maybe with lots of attributes like the type and so on and so forth. And now, thanks to support of multiple filters and low-level discovery, you could easily do some interesting filtering. Well, I really need to investigate how much effort it takes to implement it, but it sounds to me that it's not that difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, well, my question was because I've seen in the code there's already a JMX.discovery item, not on the documentation, but in the source code, it's there.
That is correct. It's not documented because it's not working as well, or it would be useful. There's a proof of concept patch in our Jira as well, added by Alexander's over here. So it's something that definitely has already been investigated, even partially implemented. But it's not on the roadmap yet, right?
Yeah, I confirm.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Go ahead.
So if it's not top secret, is it possible to have some information about your commercial strategy? 2 points. Will Zabbix remain an open source? And take care, it will be recorded. And do you have plan to open branch offices I don't know, in Europe, for example.
So the question is about the commercial strategy, including whether Zabbix will stay open source and whether there are plans to open more branch offices in Europe.
Yeah, thank you.
Regarding the first part, will it stay open source or not? Yes, it will stay open source. That's our promise to our community. So it will stay open source forever.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
And for those actually remembering last year's, was it last year, I think, conference, that was already a promise made by Alexei. It's already on video, it's already on the internet.
Yeah.
So it's too late by now. And the second part about the branch offices in Europe.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if it makes sense to open kind of additional Zabbix offices or branch companies in Europe. I think that our partners in Europe, they are doing a great job of delivering services and communicating with their customers. So, well, we are very close anyway. It's just 2 hours flight to almost any location in, well, Western Europe, for example. Yeah, so, well, I don't think so. I don't think it makes sense at this moment, at least.
Okay. Thank you, Alexei.
And yeah, maybe still, you said the strategy and so on. So I guess our strategy is to involve partners, to have a network of partners who, well, believe in our product, who contributes to our product, well, just contributing financially, contributing the ideas. They know requirements of the customers. They know requirements of big customers. They are serving customers in different industries. It's telcos and the financial sector, banks, and so on. So this is a very valuable information for us because it really gives us a little bit of direction. So which direction we need to improve our product. So this is really, really important. Otherwise, we might be a little bit disconnected from this feedback. Yeah. So partners are really, really important for us.
I have a question about low-level discovery and filtering. Is there any chance to provide a second filtering level, trigger creation? Because when you discover lots of instances, lots of items, sometimes you need to create special trigger expression for special items you've discovered, and only if these special items you've discovered have to has these triggers. So I can imagine that it should work like there is one filtering to create items and second filtering to create triggers.
So the question is about sort of like we have filtering with regular expressions for creating items in low-level discovery, a second layer of filters for trigger creations to have separate, different triggers for different discovered entities. I think one example I've heard about is that for specific file systems, you might want to have a different threshold, like boot will not really need to have like 10% free on it always or something like that. Or maybe you have another example.
I have a case when I discovered SMART disk parameters, and some of these parameters are critical and has to set some triggers, yes. Not all the parameters, but some of them, and not on all on the desktops there are present these parameters, not on all disks. So
you would still want to monitor it with an item, but not have a trigger on it or something like that, right?
Sorry?
You would like to monitor it, you would like to have an item, but not the trigger.
I've collected all the data from SMRT disk interface, yes? So there are statistics about disks. And some parameters like disk temperature or something connected with bad sectors are very important. So if there, for example, the temperature of the disk were high, I have to set triggers, and these triggers only have sense for this specific item.
Mm-hmm. So triggers for specific items in LLD?
Well, this idea is quite new to me, so really I need to think about it. I don't really like kind of extra complexity level in configuration, but I also see some use case when it might be useful. Well, I don't know. I really need to think about it. I cannot answer right now.
Okay, thank you. I have one more question about user parameters or new functionality in Zabbix agent according to the database monitoring. When there's several ways to monitor databases, but most of that will make connection every to receive one value. So when you monitor lots of value in databases, every time you create new connection to databases, receive value, and put into Zabbix. So there is a functionality, or there will be the functionality that allow
so I guess the question is about
something like collector parameters will receive several metrics, and in one database session, and then push back to the Zabbix server.
So the question is about database monitoring and obtaining multiple values with a single database connection instead of doing one by one.
Yeah, I guess it's not only related to database monitoring. It's also related to any long-running scripts. So if you have a long-running scripts on Zabbix agent side and use it on Zabbix agent side, yeah, and you want to use it as a user parameter, well, it's a real problem. So Zabbix users end up creating cron tab jobs, connecting and maybe writing the information into file or sending directly using Zabbix sender. Yes, it's not so good. Yeah, actually we already started discussion maybe even 1 year ago regarding implementation of this feature internally in the Zabbix team, but still we have no good design for this feature, but we'd love to have it implemented.
Okay, thank you very much.
Because really for many users it's a challenge, especially from maintenance point of view, because you don't have to maintain Zabbix agent only and configuration of Zabbix agent, but the whole bunch of additional cron tab jobs, and maybe you must have Zabbix sender installed, and there are so many dependencies, it doesn't scale well.
I guess you've been asked this question a lot, but here it goes. Have you considered switching from SVN to Git?
Have we considered switching to SVN to Git? Yes? Next? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, some time ago we switched from CVS to SVN. Well, I don't know, maybe at some point we'll switch to Git, but actually SVN will work very well for us. Yeah, so I don't know, maybe, of course, in order to expect, well, more contribution from Zabbix users, it would be probably wise to have Zabbix code on GitHub and do all the development there. But actually, SVN is a quite good solution. So I don't see kind of the immediate advantages of technical advantages of switching from Subversion to Git at this moment. Okay.
Okay.
When Zabbix here will have a repository, for example, for modules, from communities modules with Zabbix CS pre-moderation. It's the first.
Okay, so let's go on. So when will we have some repository for community modules which would be vetted and moderated by the Zabbix team, I guess?
Well, I believe we already have a kind of an official one under Zabbix.org. So Zabbix.org is our community site, which is managed by community members, not by Zabbix. We don't have at the moment any resource to share templates, to share models, to share maybe some, well, how-tos, recipes about Zabbix. And it's a shame. Yeah, we're still looking for a good platform. I believe we really need to we really need to start with something. Yeah, so we well, I don't know. It's a shame that we don't have a kind of central repository of templates, for example. Yeah, we have so many templates prepared by Zabbix users, and they are willing to share those templates, but we have no a single point, a single repository. Yeah. At this moment, well, no particular plan. So I cannot again promise you that okay, this will be available soon. But we are thinking about it, and the challenge is to have a good platform. So this is a problem at this moment.
Maybe discuss this question in forum with your community, and
yeah,
community
absolutely.
will community can find a proper solution for itself.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And actually, I evaluated a number of different solutions, different wiki and Atlassian enterprise, Atlassian Confluence, and some other solutions. But I am not quite satisfied with all of them because I really want the solution to be very simple, easy to use, so it really looks like some custom application built specifically for our needs, and it requires time to develop if we are going this direction.
And my next question is related to my first. Some devices which we try to monitor allows closed by vendor protocols. It's the main problem when it's impossible to implement these devices to Zabbix, because vendors does not want to open their protocols. Then, if we have modulars, we can buy a model. We can describe API for a model and buy a model in vendor. Vendor will write it model himself and put it to your almost official repository for other devices and implementation of other devices in future.
So the question is about vendors which do not disclose protocols for the products they sell you, and typically there could be some static API that they would write proprietary modules against and then sell to you. But I'm not sure whether you would convince those vendors to write a module for you, but maybe there's another take on that.
So we already support we already support the models for the agent. So this is might be the way to go right now. I don't know. Again, as you know, there are some limitations. So we do not expose some internals of a Zabbix server, but maybe it's not required in your case. Well, I don't know what to tell. So there's a standard way. So they can write models for Zabbix agent or for Zabbix server, and it's already possible. And there are some code examples in our code base.
Okay, I will open discussion of this question in forum too. Thanks.
Okay.
So we had a couple of questions coming from the IRC as well. So to fill the void, we could go with one of those. And this question is from Walter, which some of you might know. It's about the server proxy compatibility in different versions. So when somebody's upgrading from one major version to another, the proxies, they have to be upgraded at the same time as the server. And the question is, how would people with lots of proxies actually handle that in the future as they upgrade and upgrade?
Yeah, actually, I heard this question several times during the conference yesterday and today. It seems to be an issue for many users, especially if you have many proxies, like tens of proxies, hundreds of proxies, and you heard about the Zabbix deployments having more than 2,000 of proxies connected to one Zabbix server. Well, let me explain you how it works currently. So at this moment, we depend on the same database schema on Zabbix server side and on Zabbix proxy side. So if the database schema is different, okay, maybe there is no table which we introduced in Zabbix 2.2 and we are running Zabbix 2.0, and on Zabbix proxy side there is no table, it won't work. So technically, of course, it's absolutely possible to implement this level of backward compatibility with the Zabbix proxy. It just requires a little bit of work. And since now we are providing 5-year support, actually, we need to have the backward compatibility for at least 5 years. It means 3 or 4 major releases of Zabbix. It's a little bit of work. But, well, technically, I see no issues of implementing it, but well, it's kind of quite a big amount of work.
So I guess that means it would be nice, but no plans, no, not on the roadmap yet.
Yeah, it's not on the roadmap, but I absolutely feel this need. Yeah, I absolutely feel this pain of those users who maintain a larger Zabbix installation, and especially if you, for example, use some hardware appliances. Okay, you have maybe some hardware you ship this hardware to remote location, which runs Zabbix proxy, and then it's not so easy to make upgrade on that remote side. So if you had the backward compatibility, you ship it and you run it for 5 years. You don't need to upgrade Zabbix proxy side. It really helps to maintain easier, larger distributed environments.
Which would be similar to the Zabbix agents.
Yeah. So let me remind you that we do provide backward compatibility with Zabbix agents starting from Zabbix 1.0. Yeah, so you may.
That's old.
That's old. Yeah, I agree. As I am, I guess. Basically, you may run the latest Zabbix 2.4. Just install Zabbix 2.4 and still use it with a very old Zabbix 1.0, 1.1, 1.3, 1.6, 1.8, 2.0, and 2.2 agent. It works absolutely fine. Well, we don't have this level of backward compatibility with the proxies yet, and I'm not sure if it will be implemented or not. I really need to discuss it with our engineers. What kind of technical issues we may have? Is it something we may develop maybe in 1 month's time, or this is something to be developed in 6 months' time? And remember that it's not only kind of cost of development, I mean time and time cost of the development, we also need to maintain it for 5 years. It's just additional resources required to maintain this level of compatibility.
Thank you for conference, first of all. And a quick question, do you have a strategy or plans for supplying binary distributions of Zabbix server? And for me, especially interesting is RHEL or Enterprise Linux 7 version, which I noticed that you didn't ship, although you had 5 and 6.
Oh, the question is about the binary
Linux
versions for different distros, and specifically about Red Hat Linux Enterprise 7.
Well, we already have it available from our website. So if you go to the downloads section, we have
6 or 7.
Or it's about what?
6 or 7.
You
I
have
think it's
5 and 6.
5 and 6. We don't have 7 yet in there.
Not yet.
I believe they will be soon.
They are coming. They are coming soon. Yeah. So
okay,
remember,
they are coming.
Yeah. Well, they are.
In the meantime, you can also check out the Apple repository. There might be there for RGL 7 already.
I like yours better. I feel
Okay,
safer
so there are some options, and maybe we'll have some more. There's one last question from Andrew over there. That will be real quick.
So where are we going next year? Are we coming back?
Next
year's
conference. Where do we meet?
Well, the next conference, it will be in Riga for sure.
So Riga it is. You're coming back.
Yeah.
Okay.